Hey, I'm Bruce Nadler, the Boomer Consumer. Today I'm talking about how I ended up with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus in 2019. Story time. So I have a small business I run out of my house, and like a lot of people, I had the traditional landline with these handsets. 3 of them came in a package, and dummy here had all 3 hooked up, which meant when anybody would call, all 3 phones would ring. There was no way to deactivate the ringers on all but one phone. Now I did it that way so wherever it was in the house, I was very close to a phone. The problem, of course, is all the robocallers out there, the telemarketers and all that. Calls at 2 or 3 a.m. would wake people up in the house, and it got old. It got really, really old. So what I decided to do was to convert a landline to a cell phone, right? So let's go through the process of that. First off, I decided that I would talk to the various cell phone carriers here in my hometown. Now, it's a fairly small town, but there is a Verizon store, an AT&T store, there's a Walmart, and there's a Cricket Wireless in town. Now, the first place I went to was Cricket Wireless, and they told me I could absolutely not port a landline number to a cell phone. Then I went over to Verizon and they said, well, yes, you can. Then we started talking about plans, and it turned out that a prepaid plan was actually cheaper than getting a new line, new service with Verizon. And I also seen a deal on AT&T that for $300 up front, why you could get a unlimited talk and text plus 8 gigs of data per month for 1 year. That works out to $25 a month in order to have this prepaid plan, a lot cheaper than anything else out there, in my opinion. So now we decide that we're going to get a phone, we're going to get a cell phone, we're going to replace the landline. Well, then you started looking at the actual phones that were for sale at these resellers. AT&T had just like 3 phones and they were pure garbage. Verizon store had 6, count them 6, a little free stand on there, and they were garbage phones as well. I went out to Walmart, and Walmart had a better selection of phones, but they weren't great. They were more expensive. So what to do? That's when I decided to buy a unlocked phone, but just not any unlocked phone, but a former flagship phone. Thus, I ordered the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus from Amazon. My link to this phone is below. This is under $300. At the time I ordered, it was $279. I went there today and it was $290. This is an outstanding phone. It's the one Android phone that I coveted from the time I saw it. Now, understand that I buy iPhones maybe once every 3 to 4 years is when I upgrade iPhones, and it's always been iPhone. I've never owned an Android phone before. So this phone really packs a punch for the money. Now, if you compare it to some of the mid-price phones today, this is still a better phone. And I think for a lot of us, a remanufactured phone or refurbished flagship phone from a couple years ago represents a tremendous value compared to the price of modern flagships. This phone was around $900 new, and I got it for $279. The display is what really attracted me to the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. It is a 2960 by 1440 AMOLED display. Beautiful, beautiful display, razor sharp. It's like 551 PPI for the pixel peepers out there. That's amazing. It is super sharp, and I love the curved display on the phone. 64 gigs of storage, an octa-core CPU on here. It has Bluetooth 5.0, a 12 megapixel rear-facing camera, 8 megapixel front-facing camera, touch to unlock, touch ID on the back, a fingerprint reader on there. Pretty much this phone has everything you could really want in a phone at a very affordable price. And yes, Samsung still supports this phone. I upgraded to Android 9.0, and it has the Samsung One UI, which I don't have a problem with. It even supports wireless charging, although that doesn't seem to work too well in this OtterBox clear case. It's kind of hit and miss with that. The idea is value for the money. I bought this phone primarily as a communications device for email, for actual phone calls and also for Skype calls as well. And for all of those things, I think it does a marvelous job. The idea of going out and spending $700, $800, $900, $1,000 on a new flagship, especially if you can get quite a bit of the same usefulness out of a slightly older flagship, I just don't think that makes a whole lot of sense from a financial point of view. I'm not one of those guys that throws away, $1,000 once a year because I have to have the latest and greatest. What I do want is I want solid features, a solid phone that will be supported for a while, has some kind of warranty. And yes, when you buy these Amazon remanufactured phones, you get a 90-day warranty on it. And it does not come with the headphones, did not come with, it came in a plain brown box with the phone, a charger, a SIM tool, a little bit of paperwork, and that was it. That's all I need. That's all I need. This is what I needed right here, the phone. And as far as learning to live with Android, I don't have a lot of problems with it. It's very similar to iOS in a lot of ways, but yet I'm not locked into that whole Apple walled garden with this thing. I do miss iMessage on there, but that's not a big deal. Again, I'm using this more as a communications device in a business scenario. In fact, this phone is actually overkill for what I use it for. But for under $300, I thought, why not? It makes a whole lot of sense. And I think I've got a really nice phone here that'll last me for quite some time. Yeah, I got away from a landline and ported it to a mobile phone. Yes, it can be done. This particular phone, the Amazon link to this phone, if you're interested, is down below. Will work with both AT&T and Verizon. Will not work on Sprint. But yeah, I think for the price, I couldn't go wrong. I'm all for getting a 1 or 2 year old flagship as opposed to going out and buying the latest and greatest and wasting money that I don't have to waste. And that's it. I'm Bruce Taylor, your Boomer Consumer. Thanks so much for watching.